actually right inside here.
Okay.
It's behind the tank of refrigerant.
Okay.
But it's blowing to cool the compressor.
Got it. So it's sucking air from the bottom.
Oh yeah.
So and that's why it's going to get dusty and dirty. So okay. And the fan has no filter, just the blades. Got it.
They could just take a flow gun. Yeah, that's it. Now, the next time you buy this, you don't need to get the dye because you have the dye. So they actually sell it with the dye in it.
The oil?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, you could get just regular oil. Now, do you have any hybrid vehicles?
No, we run no hybrid.
If you ever have to work on a hybrid, you can't use this.
How about a Blue Tech? Doesn't matter? Like that's the Mercedes Sprinter, it's a Blue Tech.
Yeah, as long as it's not an electrical system,
got it.
You should be fine. This is conductive. So if you put this in a hybrid, you'll damage the system.
Wow, okay.
All right, you gotta make sure you use only hybrid oil for the hybrids.
Got it.
So what you do with this is you take this off. Yeah, you can take that off and screw it off. It should just come right down. Yeah, it should just come right down. And just screw that off. You gotta pull the whole thing out. Yeah, that's like the pressure.
Oh,
see how that goes down?
Yeah, that's it.
So be careful when you put it back on, or you'll push the refrigerant, the oil outside of the container.
Right now,
Just fill it to the top line.
that's it. Now
just go here. I'll show you, because you're going to end up getting it out of the top of the container if you're not careful. It'll come right out of here. So let me put this on here. Just put this right back on. See how it flips in there? Now you're good. Now, what's going to happen is when you go to put oil in, it's going to push down and it's going to push it out that way.
Okay.
Now you can put your dye. Now, it's up to you if you want to use the dye, because this already has dye in it.
Right.
So you're kind of...
we are not going to use the dye because we have so after
right. I would save this for now until you run out of that oil.
Right.
And then just get the oil without the dye. It's less money.
Got it.
So
Got it.
There's no reason to put, but this dye would go in here. You know what the dye's for, right?
To check the
leak
to find leaks.
Right.
So that's why you need the dye.
Right.
Now, when you're checking the machine, you will get the leak, right? You're gonna check the leak. How do you know if you don't have the dye there? Because the dye is in here, but the machine is supposed to put the dye inside.
If you tell it to.
Oh, okay. You won't do it by itself. You gotta.
Correct.
Okay.
Right. You have to tell the machine to put the dye in. You're gonna have to tell the machine to put the oil in too.
Oh, okay.
Will the machine tell you, okay, that's enough, or you have to know the proper amount to put in?
You have to know the right amount. Yeah.
Okay, and that's based upon how much came out of here?
Correct.
So you're going to read this and then know how much to put in there?
Correct.
Okay.
Also, though, if you change parts, you really should add some oil. You change a filter on a car, or you change a hose, you should always add a little bit of oil.
Right.
But it's not. You don't want to add 8 ounces of oil. This is only designed to add like an ounce or 2. That's it.
Oh, at max?
Yeah.
But will it quit out on you and say, okay, I'm done, don't fill me up more? Or is
you set the amount in.
Okay.
So we're going to set it up.
So we'll set it up so we don't put more than necessary, right? Okay.
Correct.
And then it's just automated after that.
Right. I'm just going to stop this for now. We have enough in there.
Okay.
It's just about 8 pounds.
Okay, so what he was explaining is that fan that was running, I think he explained it to you, right? Is pulling air from under this. Now, because of the dust on the floor, it'll pick up dust. So that has to, with the air gun, has to be cleaned out, or else it could damage the internal parts.
Yeah, it'll get in behind the compressor and then it starts to heat up. Just every month or so, just go in there and just blow it out, just in case there's dust. And there may be nothing in there.
But do it anyway.
There is, just
open the machine.
Just open it. Just don't blow it up this way because you got electrical parts. Just around the bottom. Just try to clean out the dust. That's all.
Does he access it from the bottom, underneath it, or he?
No, just as soon as you open that door, you can see it.
By the filter and everything. Okay, got it.
You open the door and.
Yeah, you'll see. I mean, if there's no dust in there, don't worry about it. I always just make sure around the compressor is clean, because if that gets hot, that's when you start to have. There's 2 expensive parts on this: the compressor and the circuit board.
The circuit board, yeah.
Circuit board is a lot of money, and that's
Yeah.
the electric importance. And the compressor is if it doesn't get enough electric or if it gets dusty.
So could the circuit board be ruined if you're using a long extension cord and you're just
sure.
jumping it off of a power strip? Yeah. So we have a lot of outlets on the side of these walls. So an orange extension cable right to there, no longer than 20 feet.
Yep.
All right.
Try not to do it.
All right. Or else it's not going to get enough voltage. Wattage, you said, right?
Amperage.
Amperage.
Yeah.
And the other parts are going to be running with minimal juice and burn out.
So I don't know, you wanted to do that car?
Yeah,
Is
yeah.
there any possible way you could get it closer?
Yeah. Or can we wheel it over there?
Yeah, the only thing is getting the electric to it, to the machine.
Oh, yeah. The electric. Yeah.
Hey, put it over. Yeah. You got another outlet or?
Perfect.
You want to back the car like to here?
Yeah.
That good?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that cord's okay. That's kind of a light cord, though. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not,
just
not very heavy.
you bring it like this.
Yeah.
That's it. It's okay. Jose, go over there. Back it up here.
Hold on, Bob. Stick it. Let him pull forward. Let him pull forward. That should reach.
Yeah, we should actually go over this.
Yeah.
Little bit short.
Reset the car up. You don't need the car running.
So we always do this with the car not running, right?
Absolutely, until the very end.
And why do we do this with the car not running?
Because you don't need it running. That's probably the best way to explain it.
Okay. Because I've seen them running before when they've.
Yeah.
That's why I say
what you're doing. Don't run the car.
That's why you're here.
Yeah. You don't need to do it with this machine. This works like an air coupler.
Rafi, can I get a light? Rafi, can you bring me a light? Light, please.
Pull the collar back, and then it just. Let me see that for a second. Got it? Okay. Now, once you get it on there, you have to open it.
Okay.
Okay, turn it to the right. It's a reverse thread. That's how you open it. Yeah. There you go.
It's like those butane tanks at the house.
Yeah, exactly. So this just goes on, and you pull the collar back, and then it clips on here.
It goes right.
And you turn it to the right. You can see you got pressure on your machine over there now, right? That means you got Freon in the car.
Okay, so yeah, let's understand the dials.
That's just going to show you pressure right now. With the vehicle off, both gauges should be reading the same thing, right around what the temperature is right now, 50 degrees, or 50 psi. So,
Yeah, the light. Just keep a light over there so when
so this is all reading while the car's off, but this is just telling you there's Freon in the vehicle.
Right, and what are these, the temperatures you said? Just the room temperature?
Well, usually the way air conditioning works, the pressure on the gauge is about 50 pounds. It's normally pretty close to what the temperature is outside.
Right.
When the vehicle's off.
Right.
Yeah, so right now it's probably about 50 out there. So.
Okay. And then there's high and low pressures?
Yes, and that's more for when the system is operating. Mm-hmm. You know, that's refrigerant is the miracle gas. It has a high pressure and low pressure. So.
Oh, okay.
It's
okay. But eventually, are we going to need to understand these numbers?
Yeah, that's just, by the way, that's the air purge running. So don't worry about that. Depends on how much they want to know.
How technical we want to get with this stuff?
Exactly.
Okay.
But here's what you got on the screen here. And this is basically how you're going to operate it. When you, let's turn this off for a second. I'll turn it back on so you can see how it starts up. Okay. So right now you have about 8 pounds in here. So you have enough to do a vehicle. If you turn this on and it only said 3 pounds, you're going to need to add more refrigerant in.
Okay.
So I'll show you how to do that as we go along. But here's your basic steps. And forget about automatic for a second. Recover is what takes the Freon out of the car. Vacuum is your vacuum pump after you've repaired the system to get the air out and take any moisture out. And charge is for putting the refrigerant back in.
And that's just the incremental order of fashion anyway?
Correct. Those are the 3 basic steps to operate the
1,
machine.
2, 3, yeah.
Right. Now, if there's no pressure in here and you hooked up, that means the system's empty. So you don't have to recover if there's no pressure. The car's already empty.
Got it.
So, and that means, you know, you have no air conditioning.
Right.
So if there is pressure and you try to vacuum, it's going to say, no, you did it wrong. As long as there's pressure, you got to recover it first. Okay? So the automatic function, if you want to use that down the road, I would learn how to use the machine first. Automatic allows you to set the machine up and walk away from it.
Right.
And it'll do these steps for you. And you could come back in 45 minutes and it's done.
Okay.
All right? It's entirely up to you if you want to use that step. I've never used it. I don't like it. I like to look at the gauges, and I like to make sure I don't have a leak, and I want to make sure everything worked right.
Right.
But it's your call on how you want to use it.
Right.
The next option here.
But he should get his feet wet with learning how to manually use the thing
And then
several times over before
Absolutely.
we progress to the next.
I would absolutely wait. And what these are for, this is, I hit the next button if you saw from that first screen. There's your tank fill. That's for filling from there into here when you need more refrigerant. The hose flush and the system flush, you're only going to use the hose flush if you're working on a hybrid car because you can't mix the oils. You probably may never have to use that.
Right.
All right? So I wouldn't be too concerned about that for now, but if you ever have to switch from a hybrid vehicle or to a regular car or vice versa,
Right.
you have to go through a hose flush so no oil gets cross-contaminated. The system flush is basically a system flush. The machine will actually clean the lines out if necessary. It's a nice feature. I haven't really seen anybody use it.
System
but
flushes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the. It's more. It was more for older cars.
Okay.
You know, if you had a car that was probably 20 years old, maybe it still had R134, you may want to flush it out. But
Oh, okay.
the newer systems, you really don't have to do it. And then there's the setup menu, which we basically
You did
set
that
up
already, yeah.
Yeah. That was
Okay.
to put the increments in.
Got it. And the dial pad there is just basically what you use to work your setup menu with? There's not too many go-to times for that dial pad, or no, right? Okay.
Oh, here?
Yeah.
When you put your pounds in, or
When
your
they put
vacuum
pounds
line,
in. Okay.
and your ounces. Yeah,
Okay.
you're going to be using.
You're gonna be
for
using that a lot.
applications. And then on the next key, it just brings you back to that first screen. So you've got your 4 selections. Next, what does here with a hose flush, tank fill, setup menu, and then we hit it again. It takes us right back to the start. All right. So what do you think the first thing is we need to do? Go right ahead. You're safe. There you
Boom.
go. Okay, right now it's just telling you if you wanted to do diagnostics on the car yourself, you could, it tells you right here, start the AC to perform diagnostics, or with the AC off, press next. That's if, see right now it's telling you what your pressures are, which we already know. They were looking at it as 4850 PSI. But if you wanted to look at the system and diagnose it, you could.
Right.
Just by reading the pressures here. And that's why it's saying to start the car, to look at your gauges with the car running.
And
But-
you want the car or not?
Nah, that's unless you want to see it. I mean, you're not diagnosing it.
Why, it has its own diagnostics?
Well, no, it's just going to come up and tell you what your pressures are.
Which we already have now, right? It's reading it.
Well, you want your running pressure. So
Oh,
the AC
okay.
on, so you would turn the car and turn the AC
Got it.
on. And a guy who's been doing air conditioning a long time can look at the pressures and see what it's supposed to be.
Even in an off position? Or
With
on
the
a
vehicle
position?
running.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with the vehicle
Okay.
running. And I mean, I could sit here and try to give you an AC class, but it would take it forever.
Yeah.
Because you really would have to learn how to do diagnostics to understand it.
Right.
It's a little complicated, but anyway, for now, we're just going to bypass that. But this is going to come up every time you hit recover. So you can't eliminate this screen. You're just going to have to come here and say press next. So it just goes into the recover procedure. So this is an automatic step. It's going to do it by itself. So we just have to wait until a car empties out now. It's going to
Will
take
that start
about 5 to
dropping?
8 minutes.
That
Oh,
pressure
yeah.
will start dropping to zero, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.